Hello again, APAC Warriors. It's another day of the Overwatch League. My name is Trid. I'm, of course, being joined by Avril again. And we're going to be kicking off with 2 matches today as things start heating up about it's week 1 of the Midseason Madness qualifiers. Right, Avril?
Yeah, it is. Warriors. That's a good one. I like that.
APAC Warriors? Yeah. I feel like you have to be quite aggressive.
On board tonight. I mean, what? Guangzhou Charge, LA Valiant, fighting for an opportunity to sort of climb into the tournament. Let's take a look at the standings to see, who is eligible, who's already in there, who might be out. And dare I say, Trid, maybe after tonight, the end of week 1, teams could actually be mathematically out. The margins are very slim in terms of points.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to pull up those standings and take a look. But I'm fairly certain there's only one team that's secured so far. I think that's the Seoul Dynasty. So they're pretty solid right now. And you may be looking at some of those scorelines and thinking, they're pretty dire. But technically, all 6 of the other teams in the Eastern region can still qualify for the main event. It just looks very difficult for some of them. And particularly when you look around Philadelphia Fusion, Avril, it's like that's the team to beat to get in, because obviously it's the top 4 that go to the next stage. And sometimes you don't need to be able to outrun the pack of lions chasing you. You just need to be able to outrun the slowest member. So that's really what the bottom of the pack is all about. Like, who's going to get that 4th place? So I think a lot of people will struggle to contend with Spark, Dragons, and Dynasty at the top.
Yeah, it's the 5 points of Fusion, right? So, if we're trying to outrun each other, you got to catch up the Fusion, maybe try and trip him over, then sneak past him. The 2-point lead, though, makes things very difficult. It does require both, I'd say Chengdu, Valiant have the best chances here, being that they've already won matches in this particular week in this stage. Charge, I'm going to say, if they don't win tonight, it's probably looking dire. So take a look at their roster as well in a hot second. But yeah, the Guangzhou Charge, they lost already this particular week. Didn't look great. Very worried, very concerned about this team and their capability to get much more done this particular stage. I mean, they're not mathematically out, as we have been able to deduce, but at this point, they're as good as out, and they would need to have all the rest of the games being wins, and they would need as well the other 3 teams ahead of them, Valiant, Hunters, and Fusion, to kind of falter and lose games.
It's a tall order for the Charge, but let's take a look at the starting roster for today. It's Develop, Choice 1, Rio, Unique, and Farway to kick things off on our first map. And Develop's been having an okay time playing Sojourn, who seems to have taken over the meta since I last jumped on the broadcast, Avril. So I'm expecting more of that, and no real reason to change away from what we've been seeing so far.
It's been mostly kind of popping off on that Widowmaker, and on the other end, you're going to have the hits kind of Easy Han. In response, who's been playing a decent amount of Ashe, Sojourn there as well. Dia had a great performance on the Widowmaker, also for the LA Valiant. Marvel, the new player on this team in the tank position, has been kind of a dominant force, especially coming through on the Doomfist. We saw how powerful that was in the reverse sweep versus the Philadelphia Fusion. And that was an incredible game from the LA Valley, not just because it was a reverse sweep, but it's a necessary game where you got to keep the Fusion behind to climb ahead of them, to get past them. Molly as well got player of the match in that particular game on the Zenyatta, so all of these kind of heroes that are thriving in this meta are heroes that the Valiant are pretty good at.
Of course, they need to be able to beat out the Guangzhou Charge today, because they also are not secured with that standings race as we spoke about. We were talking about the impracticalities of Charge making the run through, but Valiant still have to do the work as well. Oasis is going to be our first destination in this series. It looks like we're kicking things off on Gardens.
It's a very necessary win on both sides. I mean, even Valiant losing here would kind of cost their run as well. So these teams that started with only 1 point this stage, I mean, I think a 6-0 is more than required at this stage, plus Fusion falling over. So Valiant would happily be keen to get that 2 points, put them slightly further ahead, keep them on par with the Chengdu Hunters, who themselves have looked pretty reasonable so far this stage. Gardens, like you say, just head on the rollout. Marvel on the Doom, as expected. Innovation here to play the Tracer, Easy Han. A lot of Ashe so far. I would prefer the Sojourn, but he prefers the Ashe.
See them posturing around the point. Marvel back on the Doomfist, as we've highlighted as well. Had some fantastic performances on that hero so far. Rio taking a couple of sprays here from Innovation, but turns his attention back over to Choice 1 in the mirror. This point very much under the control of Valiant for the time being, but they're going to have to push out and attempt to clear him out. Unique going down low. nearly dies. Immortality Field will give him a fraction of extra time to survive there and get some support in, so will stay up. No one has dropped as of yet, but Valiant is still in control of the point. Not enough to get that first. Oh, no, as I was about to say it, Rio had to roll away. So first cab going away of the Valiant. They begin to try and protect it. Marvel going very low. Orb of Discord on them as well. They will find the healing. Incredibly mobile. Probably able to get some cover to stay alive as Innovation is on the hunt around the back line. Finds far away, gets a spray down. Pulse bomb available. No Immortality Field. Goes in, but has to use the recall while Molly and EasyHan start picking up the kills. Develop with the railgun to take EasyHan off the field. Throws Pulse bomb in. Rio rolls away from it, but Charge, they can't find a look in here at the moment, Avril.
Well, I mean, they've finally get some kills on board, and we have, you know, at least the first frag or two. Choice one responding on towards Molly. The opportunity now for the Guangzhou Charge to get one over the LA Valiant, where ultimates are not quite online. The closest ultimate was actually going to be that nano boost. Well, sans the pulse one that was used to kill Molly, of course.
Choso one. Keeps an eye. He's pinged out Marvel, who's gone down incredibly low again, but slivers out with a fraction of health. Can't find the bio nade, but able to use the left click to get it done. Nano boost given over to Marvel. Dives into the back line. He's found far away. It's an easy pickup. The support is locked in. The cage match is developed. Will also be tagged in for another submission. And the Valiant keeping strong as they move into the final third of this round.
Just struggling to get these kills, right? Struggling to finish off players that were low. Marvel is such low HP. We even saw the missed nade coming through from Molly, but not going to be much of an issue. The nano still delivered over. Allows Marvel to move on in. Get a couple frags. Get that point up. Still in the control of the Valiant. 80% and counting now. Support ultimates online for the Charge. And I see a turn to start this fight. Still waiting for that developed Sojourn overclock. That will be really important for the retake. Still not quite online.
Getting close. 92%. EasyHan's also got Bob in here to stall out the point if they need to and control some of the angles. Marvel retreats to that Mega, but immediately Charge knew where they were going to be landing. Get some early damage in. Unique's taken out before this final fight. It's not looking good. Pulse Bomb will remove their saving grace, which was the Immortality Field they threw out. But the Overclock's online for Develop. He finally got the kill onto EasyHan, and they've cleared Marvel, who's been toying on the fraction of death this entire round, and is finally sent to the grave as Far Away finds 2 on the Zenyatta. Just Innovation left up, but at 99%, the Valiant will get the flip and begin to contest this map.
Okay, so the Overclock indeed does give the value that Charge were looking for. Unique getting Bionade was really unfortunate as well, because Faraway couldn't use the trance to save him, so waiting for the purple to go away. Pops the trance, Unique's already dead. Working on low numbers there, but the Charge will come through. They've actually equalized on final blows as well, 7-7 on both ends, and that deadlock is broken now by EasyHan's kill to Joy.
Just going to push forward here. They just knocked Rio into the lower route, into the center, as EasyHan retreat back to the point. Marvel contesting for the time being, forcing someone to respond to them. They knew Rio was busy, and that's the flip coming in for Valiant. Rio still around by the spawn.
4 versus 5. Developed down to no damage. You have to rely on choice of one. Yeah, he can't really do too much without a pulse bomb still. Time is running out. I mean, the OT timer is certainly ticking down.
Farway's gone
as well. And this is just a permanent 4v5.
And Unique can't get anywhere to provide any value, just constantly under pressure. No allies nearby to receive any healing from them. Everyone's going down. There's only who's contesting right now. I think it's just Rio on the point. No, he's going to have choice A1 recall as well. Yeah, everyone just getting fractured apart there and just taken off one by one. Not a cohesive fight for the Charge, and the Valiant will secure the round.
So point flip into a developed kill into, you know, Faraway did as well. So consistently on the back foot there as far as picks goes. Charge couldn't respond. We had that 7-7 deadlock as the final blows for both teams, and since that period, 5 extra kills came through for the Valiant, none for the Charge. First round will go over towards the Valiant with, I think, roughly 1-ish kind of fight, 1 there for the Charge. Definitely on the back foot for the majority of it. And looking towards compositions, Unique will be most likely back over towards the BAP here. Potentially even looking towards a Brig, but yeah, Brig on the line for Lynx, so will be the call to action. Marvel staying on the Doom, and Marvel so far performing up to expectations. Top fragger across both teams. Definitely the star, one of the stars of Valiant's last matchup, and proving that again.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Avril, only 1 death as well, and it was right at the end, towards the latter half
only 1 death
of that round. Put a lot of effort into getting that kill as well. Develops, building up some charge for a tasty railgun in a second. It's under pressure. Choice they want. Will get the melee onto Innovation. Flux zones them out of the doorway. And they will start putting the pressure on towards the map. Choice A1 finds Molly again. Just keeping this backline under pressure. Marvel's found far away, so there is an answer here. Support for support. As Valiant seem to be in the better position. Marvel again. He's just demolishing the supports. Like, how are they supposed to do anything? They just keep losing their backline all the time from the mobility of the charge composition. You've got Innovation and Marvel just constantly up in there.
This is where you might need to see Unique go something like the Ana here. I think this in Yard for far away is great, but Ana would go a long way to start shutting down Marvel. I mean, Molly's even on the Ana just to support the Doomfist, right? I mean, you want to be using your nanos primarily on their Doom. They've identified, okay, well, we're just going to play around Marvel best we can. Tracer towards the left of, gosh, Develop there, and, well, Innovation will dive in for the kill.
Yeah, Develop tried to enter that property without a warrant and was met with fierce resistance. Just could not find a way in there and just got ambushed by the lurking members of Charge. And Rio will go as well. Just burns more time as Charge just have not found a footing in this round.
Yeah, this is very similar to what we saw in Gardens, right? I mean, just a slow start for the Charge. They don't quite have the ultimates either. Develop under a lot of pressure. Again, this time will survive, at least for now. Marvel already has the first ultimate of this game ahead of both the Tracer players. Choice one finally getting towards that pulse bomb. You need to start seeing this pulse bomb being pressured on top of Marvel as well.
Spray down there, railgun onto Easy Harm. They need Develop online. That was the turning point in Gardens when they got the overclock available for them. It was the picks that were more important as Far Away finds Molly. That's both supports down for the Valiant. This is the opportunity for the Charge to get the flip, and it's happening much earlier than it did on Gardens, and hopefully will bode well for them in this round as the spray down continues from Choi, but it's Far Away who's dominating the kill feed right now as they will secure Marvel. That is a lot of ultimates for Valiant to clap back with.
Certainly a lot of kills for Far Away as well. You know, both support ultimates now will be up. Extra window being deployed by Unique, and Develop's turn to maybe potentially look towards that overclock. Not just yet in the
Doesn't need it.
Body shot straight through the window as well for a 260. That's what you want to see.
Charged up. Ooh, a little bit of a knockback there. Up into the sky. Easy Harm taken out. Doesn't need to be headshots at this point. Low enough to just have the body shot. But Valiant, they only use the pulse bomb there. They're keeping it quite light for the time being and haven't used any of those ultimates. But with the Valiant, with Charge pushing up so aggressively, you saw Innovation go for a cheeky swap to Widow, see if they could get a pick outside of the spawn room before going back to the Tracer.
Yeah.
You need about 26% ult charge. There's not a huge sacrifice to make.
Well, that's the thing, right? Innovation had already used the pulse bomb anyway, so he was already in a position where he had expended ultimate, rebuilding for a new one. Speaking of ultimates being used, Nana onto Marvel, just to gain them entry. Give Far Away. I mean, Far Away's been a pretty big carry so far. That's going to be the trans forced out.
Stick onto Molly in the back line, though. Didn't have that defensive ultimate to help them out. No one has the Transcendence available. Rio just on the point, rolls back. Easy Harm finds Develop. Another swing in. Good jump there from Unique to dodge the damage from the Seismic Slam. Let's hold the line for the time being as Valiant have the numbers on the point. They can't get rid of Rio, who's just swinging around for the time being. As the Orb of Discord onto Marvel will be disrupted once more. Trying to find an entry point here, but Easy Harm finds Choi, and that's it. Valiant gonna get the flip, disrupt a shot. Zones them away and allows an escape route for the Charge as they look to recontest. Rio finally going down. It's Pulse Bomb online for Innovation. I think they want to hold on to this one, though, because they're in a good spot right now.
I mean, there's just barely enough time to regroup, but maybe not anymore. Just more kills coming through. These staggers will mean everything. This could be now the 2-0 found for Valiant. Far too many members down from the Charge side. Can anyone even touch? It's not looking likely.
No, they're going to have to try and send Rio in, but they're putting a blockade up to try and stop it. But, oh, gets disrupted right at the end. No one's going to be able to touch. And that's going to be the Valiant picking up the first map of the series and going to a 1-0 scoreline.
Valiant looking good there as well. I mean, Charge did have some life to breathe in terms of being able to compete on both of those sub-maps. Had a couple of fight wins in there for the Guangzhou Charge. Had some decent frags as well. Shoutouts to Far Away for getting those. Ends up being the LA Valiant. Staying calm and collected. Had the ultimates to play through. We saw the amount of ultimates that Charge were going to blow in just to try and maintain control, go for a semi-spawn camp, not pushing too far forward, and LA Valiant holding onto those ultimates, coming back in a big way. Marvel receiving the Nano, opening the door for the point again. and then winning the fight the Valiant way that you'd expect off the back of some easy harm damage as well, who wasn't even really on the high ground as the Ashe, but did well enough on the low ground, wasn't under pressure, got the kills required.
Yeah, there wasn't much verticality going on in that map at all. It was very much just a ground skirmish from both teams, but that's going to be Valiant picking up the first map. They've already matched the scoreline from the last time these two teams faced off in Week 3. It's all up from here for the Valiant as we go for the break. When we come back, we'll have Midtown. Welcome back, everyone. We're in the middle of Charge versus the Valiant. And Valiant have picked up their first map in quite a convincing fashion on Oasis. We're looking ahead towards the series, and we're moving over to Midtown next. Avril, fantastic performance from Marvel in particular there. Felt like he was able to do pretty much anything he wanted to do on Oasis, rarely challenged, and often dealing huge damages to the back line of the Charge in that previous map.
Which is, I think, a great turnaround as well, because if we go back to the Fusion game that Marvel debuted on, was also Oasis. I believe we also played the same rounds on Oasis as well. It was Garden and City Center, and Marvel didn't look too good on those particular maps. I mean, it could have been that Fusion did a better job of shutting them down, could have just been first game jitters or lack of practice and lack of synergy with the team, being it was their first game together with a couple of new members. But by the time we got to the end of the Fusion matchup, Marvel looks fantastic. Now we get into the Charge matchup, and he's maintained that sort of momentum from beating the Fusion and on the map as well that he didn't look very good on. So I think that's the biggest turnaround, where he looks as good as he was versus Fusion, and even still on the map that he wasn't great on. So that's a huge boon for the Valiant to work through, and for the Charge, nothing's really changed for them so far. Still kind of struggling. I say nothing's changed, but they'll at least have one substitution.
Yeah, we did notice that one coming in as well. It looks like we got Krong coming in for Rio. So that tank position is going to have a quick little change up. It's Krong's time to try and match the pace of Marvel. Although it isn't necessarily a tank versus tank problem that we're facing right now. It is definitely how do you keep your backline alive when Marvel's diving in it. Go on, please tell us what the problem is, Avril.
If Farway goes blonde as well, I think they've done it.
Oh, that's it. They're just not having the color coordination.
It's just not there. It's so close. It's so close, but it's just not quite there. I don't think you didn't get the email about the team uniform.
Yep.
And I think that's just that slight lack of cohesion, even out of game that you got to work on. Everything counts.
You've got their address, right? You could just send them a color, send them a ball of dye. They can do it themselves, right?
Who's sending who what? Sorry.
No, you've got their address. You could send them some hair dye. Yeah, you've got the address.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll hit up Mr. Charge.
Yep.
Dear Mr. Guangzhou Charge, please accept this bottle of hair dye. Enjoy.
We feel it will help out with your gameplay.
and also some bleach, not for your eyes, for the hair, obviously, because you have to lighten the hair. Don't get me wrong, don't try to think it was used for something else there. But here we go, Midtown. For the Guangzhou Charge, when we look towards Krong being in, the obvious thing you have to point towards is the Sigma. So sharing playtime with Rio, the two main things here for the Charge, we're looking at the Rio Ball and the Krong Sigma. Neither of those things really worked out for them yesterday. And this was also, in terms of historical context, the one match that the Charge have won so far. Their record is, 1-6, I believe? And that one is the win versus Valiant from Stage 1 in Kickoff Clash.
Yeah, 3-1 scoreline. You go all the way back to week number 3. Valiant have already matched the previous score. Charge have a long way to go to match their previous scoreline, I'll tell you that, friend. But they're setting up on high ground. Marvel penetrating the back line already. As Easy Han looks to take over the train cart, get some high ground, and start raining down these shots. Fully charged, ready for a railgun shot. Probably wants to chip away at someone before pushing the right click and getting that down to business. But Develop then finds the shot on Innovation. So we're missing a Tracer, and that's a great entry point for the Charge to be able to shut down this push from the Valiant.
That's what you want to see out of Develop, right? Who his Sojin performance has looked kind of average so far. That's probably, the generous way of putting it. Just in terms of when you see what everyone else is doing, the kind of output they're having, especially when Charge were playing up against Spark yesterday in the Showdown. Shy on that Sojin, outclassing Develop. Now he's got a bit of an opportunity where Easy Han is also on the Sojin instead of the Ash. Will get taken down early, so another first frag got in the way of the Guangzhou Charge. Hopefully we'll be able to use that to contain and maintain control versus Valley. Yeah, they'll get the cleanup. Yeah,
that's just so tasty from the Charge, just killing all the pace from the Valiant. Going for another reset. Marvel on life support still escapes again. That's very reminiscent of Oasis so far. But no support's up just yet, but he definitely wants to donate the Charge rather than going back over to spawn room to get a top up.
He's the only player that hasn't died yet, Marvel. He's the only one in the Valiant that hasn't actually gone down yet so far on this attack. Pretty hard guy to kill, even when we look back on Oasis, right? He was able to get out with his life more than a few times. So what is the opening call here for the Valiant? Is it to put the pressure onto Krong, who's actually nearly on that flux as well? So a lot of ultimates coming online very soon for Guangzhou Charge, and Marvel's just getting chunked down.
Still alive, though. Has the Immortality field for a second. Bit of a panic there from Molly, I think. Not trusting the immortality of his main tank. Easy Han will go down. Far away, getting these frags on the Zenyatta consistently, and that's enough to take down Marvel finally. A rock, a Discord, and a railgun shot from Develop will do the trick. And this is night and day from what we saw from the Valiant on Oasis in terms of dominance.
Well, it's really Valiant struggling to get past the poke damage coming through from the Charge lineup, where nearly 5 ultimates online. They won that last fight. In fact, they've won every single fight without spending ultimates so far, which is great to see. Big turnaround from the Guangzhou Charge. Kron coming in for the Sigma, and they just completely poke out Valiant. We talk about Marvel not going down, maybe struggling to get him killed, but brilliant. They finally get that kill into Marvel. So, exactly what you want to see. Immortality Field burned, window burned as well, and yet the Guangzhou Charge will still find the damage to get the kills.
And about to get all the ults online. There's the flux coming in from Krong. He's gone up to the sky, far away, takes out Innovation. There's the Meteor Strike for the reset. Marvel is backing away from that fight as well, and he's just out. He's dipped out, he's escaped, all gone. And there's this nice slowdown here from the Valiant. They're going to push back in again. Choice A1 needs to stay out of the Disruptor shot. There's the overclock in a corridor. That's not where you want to be with the railgun. Scouring to escape there, and it's only Lengzi will get picked up by Krong. With 35 seconds remaining, Avril, this doesn't look good for the Valiant to be able to get a single bit of percentage on the map. They might get full held here.
I mean, that was a moment, right? You see the overclock coming through in the alleyway. Rats are scurrying through. I know we're in New York. You know, there's certainly quite a few rats in New York is what I'm talking about here. But like you said, 30 seconds remaining now, down to 20. LA Valiant is struggling to even get on the point here. They're playing this dive composition, but struggling to get past any of the poke. Seems like they can't make a dive actually happen on the backline at all, and now the ultimate's coming through.
Oh, they can actually. He just dismantled Unique. This is it. Overclock is being used as well. Lengzi gets taken out there by a Storm Arrow. Develop it drops Easyhan. Couldn't find value with the Overclock because of the Transcendence. They got Marvel Innovation on the point. Dragon Strike's going to cut through. Now they're going to respond to them. They did get a lot of percentage here. This might be a huge turn for the Valiant, because if they get that percentage on the board and they're able to get some defense on the go, it might be enough, but they've got a lot of work to do here to keep the Charge from matching that 70%.
It's important they get the 70% because it would have been a lot worse than that. So as you sort of say there, you know, the Valiant keeping some hope alive, but it's going to have to all end on A. No B or C play whatsoever here. Brilliant stuff by the Guangzhou Charge. That's the most alive that we've seen them so far this stage, and for most of the previous stage as well. Seems like the one team that they always have some sort of chance of beating is going to be the LA Valiant. But that even extends to their general sort of all-time record against each other, 4-1. Guangzhou Charged 5 total games. Guangzhou have won 4 of them. Valiant have only won the one time. That was in 2019 as well. So the Valiant, you know, this will be the first win against Charge for the organization for the better part of 3 years almost, if it does happen tonight. But certainly going to make Valiant work for it in the terms of how this map has gone so far. Playing this poke composition masterfully.
Is this warm-up? Was that aim warm-up there for Easyhan? Yeah, I think they basically called him away. They were like, you need to get in position now, bud. I'm sorry. You've not got enough time for this.
It's got like 18 seconds, you know. That being said, there's a few other little sewer grate kind of thingies.
Yeah.
What's that thing called? The pizza top?
Is it called a pizza top? It's a.
It's not. I made that up. It's
a manhole cover. Manhole cover.
Yeah, it's a manhole cover. Yeah, I don't speak English. That's what the problem is. There's a few more manhole covers on A that he could have probably worked with. So here we go. Choice 1 back over towards Hanzo. They know what their win conditions are. It's a poke composition on the defensive side as well. But the problem here is they're running the Tracer, which gives them more flexibility, but does mean they probably lose in the straight-up matchup. So we need to see innovation, harass the back line, force this Charge lineup to turn around so it's just not this front loaded damage straight into Marvel Shield.
Innovation's a little bit too low to play that riskier game on the back line. Disappears off to the safety of his team. Choice A1 checking the angles to make sure there's no drop, and Easyhan's been found by Develop. Oh, no, no, no. It's their time to poke, and it's their time to dismantle the Valiant. Molly, very isolated here on the point, but he still gets Choice A1. Probably not what they wanted to see there right at the end. But this is it. Charge just going to roll on through. Any contest coming out here. No one's going to be able to touch. And that's it. Charge get away with the map win and tie out the series.
Wow.
Very fast from Midtown. And you take it, because it's a huge momentum killer.
It's a 180 turnaround on both ends. It's not even just, we're not even just talking about the Charge here, not even just really even talking about the Valiant. It's kind of both sides, right? You have Charge turning their game around, not just from Oasis, but even from yesterday's performance, which was more than lackluster, the LA Valiant as well. From what we saw into Oasis to what we just got here, that doesn't look right to me. And to end things with, and you know, I'll have a fun fact for you here, Tread. Only 2 final blows total for the LA Valiant, that entire map. Just 2. One on Marvel, one on Molly, and Molly only just got that one at the end. So, yikes, that one's going to hurt for a while.
That's going to sting indeed. They're probably going to have to put something on that wound to tidy it up. We're going to go to a quick break while they go to the first aid room, Avril. When we come back, we're looking towards Watchpoint Gibraltar. Welcome back, everyone. It's tied series between the Valiant and the Charge, and we saw a complete 180 on what we saw on Oasis. It looked like Midtown was a completely different series with just how dominant it was from the Charge. Avril, I'm still trying to process what happened there.
A lot of things for the Charge, not a lot for the Valiant side.
Yeah.
I have to kind of focus on one player that I think started to impress a lot more, who I think justifiably got a lot of flack in previous maps and matches. That's Develop, obviously, specifically on the Sojin, didn't look that good versus Shy. I teed that point up in the middle of the game, but as we got through that, you got a number of first bloods, a lot of impactful kills, plenty of rails hit as well. With Deathless, obviously only 2 people actually died on the Charge. It was Choice of 1 and Unique. Krong, Develop, and Faraway all went deathless on that particular map, but Develop's ability just to get a lot of those 5v4s, or rather enable those 5v4s, I think helped out the charge a lot, as well as Krong just coming in, stable force in the front line, shields up with the Sigma, and holding things strong. So, see how things go now as we head into Watchpoint Gibraltar. Dia coming in to play the Widowmaker. This was the big turnaround point for the LA Valiant versus Fusion the last time that we had the Valiant game, which was just a couple days ago. They were down 2 maps. It was looking like it was going to be probably a 3-0. And then Dia decided on the Widowmaker, it's time to win.
Oh, they just decided, did they? They were like, yep, winning time.
They did.
And you know what? This map's actually a really good... well, the format's quite good for the Valiant, I feel, here, because if you look at their all-time record against the Charge, they are 3-0 in escort maps against the Charge. They have never lost an escort map to this organization in the history of the Overwatch League. Not a massive sample size, I'll be honest with you. It's only 3, no, but still worth noting, they typically perform quite well.
And I think this is going to be Valiant's strength as well in terms of the specific heroes and players on those heroes. Like I already mentioned, Dia's Widowmaker, not to be scoffed at all. That was the prime driver for their comeback on that reverse sweep. It seems like EasyHind might even be looking towards that Widowmaker here as well. To be fair, both of them can play it. The fact that Dia's going to be the one on the Ashe, EasyHind on the Widow is interesting, because I would have figured it was the other way around. EasyHind has been playing a lot of Ashe, even opts to play the Ashe over the Sojourn in many cases. We already talked about Dia's Widowmaker capability, but they've decided to swap it up, keep it fresh. Develop starting things out on the Sojourn. Notably, as I mentioned in yesterday's cast versus the Guangzhou Spark, Develop's best hero still is the Widowmaker. So if he does want to go for a Widowmaker duel, this would be the map to do it. This would be the matchup to do it as well. But so far, just opting for the Sojourn.
5, 4, 3.
I wonder where Troy's going to send him on the teleporter. He's got that for the Symmetra. There you go, just going to get Krong over to the side, get a nice little flank and apply pressure. Make sure they can't really just sit up on that bridge, and it's a good start for the Charge to take the space. Choi going over to the Genji as well, so we're going to see them whip that out and pressure, I imagine, Dia and EasyHind.
The primary role of the Genji, at least for the first phase of this, is actually just to push the payload, so you won't see Choi Se1 joining in the fight or doing anything significant for a while. And it will come down to somebody from the Los Angeles Valiant as well controlling or at least contesting that payload. Ideally, it should be probably EasyHind going down, but with Dia being taken down by Faraway now, EasyHind has to kind of do the work of both hit scans.
Storming over them. They've just taken all the space, taken control of it. I don't think anyone went to bother with Choi Se1. Like you said, the payload was just in motion. EasyHind answers back onto Unique in the chaos. Oh, Lengza finds Krong as well, so the Valiant have woken up, and they're not just going to keel over the pressure of the Charge, but they are going to have to come back from the spawn to start contesting this one.
Well, you see where the payload is there, and Choi Se1 just gets to the top of the hill, backs out, waiting for the ball respawners. And the big difference now is Charge get to play as 5. So now the payload's in the position that they want to. Choi can join the fight. He can actually pressure the back line as he's meant to. So EasyHind playing the extremities of the distance here. And ideally, Dia's on a separate angle so that both your hit scans, both your snipers, aren't just covering the same angles. You are looking different areas. And as I say that, it looks like
they're both from the same angle.
That's a little bit unfortunate, as I mentioned it. A little bit unfortunate.
Hey, sometimes that happens. Stop the shot behind the shield. Flux being triggered here from Marvel. Faraway's the one to get slammed. Dodges out the accretion. Dia will deal with Choi Se1, so not the pressure they were looking for from the Charge. They're trapped in the corner, but this Transcendence is going to provide a lot of value for them as they're confirmed. Develop will take Marvel out. There's Krong finding Lengza. That's the Charge still holding strong for now as Dia just gets a right click. Faraway has just been absolutely demolishing people this series, by the way. I just want to point out.
100%. And just something else as well. Molly came from this team. Faraway came in, signed to the roster after the Chengdu Hunters imploded their roster in the offseason. Molly was meant to be the starter as a flex support here. Faraway comes in, immediately benches Molly on this team. Guangzhou Charge had no interest in playing Molly. Released him or traded him to LA Valiant, so Molly plays against his ex-team, and Faraway is the one currently outplaying Molly.
There's the rally singing on top of it. Molly just tucked in that corner, using the Transcendence to re-emerge with the Valiant and contest this payload. Bob joins the fray, the 6th man. I was about to say 7th there, but that's Overwatch 1. Faraway takes Bob out. EasyHind deals with Choi Se1, who's not really had much value on the Genji so far. Nice railgun shot there. Takes EasyHind's head. We're using the overclock to get repeat shots. Molly in the sight lines. Going to throw out a disruptor shot, forces an angle change, but going to lead for far away to pick up that kill. Less than 1 minute remaining. There's a couple of kills being traded back and forth, but Charge are very much still in control of this entire situation, even with the Flux comes in. I say that as Lensa finds Unique after it goes down. EasyHan comes in with the kills, and Marvel under the Kosh, 30 HP, but Krong will take him out. You're just looking towards EasyHan on the payload. Molly comes back around the corner. Here's the duel. EasyHan, you don't miss these. Choi with the play gets taken out immediately by Dia and the Helix Rockets. Oh, it's not a good time to be a Genji. And there's only 25 seconds remaining for Charge.
That's the thing, right? Because you develop using the overclock, didn't have the HP to push further. A lot of frags going both sides. Farway opens up to Molly. So kills his counterpart. We talk about the Zenyatta duel. Farway's been winning it. But Charge still can't cap. The Flux ends up being okay for Marvel. Dia comes in, saves it. EasyHan maintains control of the point as well. No matter which way you cut this, it's got to go to OT. Charge are looking for the cap.
No.
1 for 1.
No tanks. It's going to be Molly just sitting up here with the sightlines. Dia again with the Helix Rockets. The changeover to the Soldier. The missing piece to just keep Valiant still in this game. They've locked far away in the corner. He can't frag his way out of this one, Avril. Pulse bomb on the point finds Develop. Wow. LA Valiant. They want to keep that all-time record against the Charge. And they stop them shy of point A.
And we're not going to B today. We didn't go to B on Midtown.
No
it's
Bs.
Another full hold on Gibraltar as well. I mean, who knows? Maybe we just don't go to B at all for any of our maps for the rest of the evening for this particular series. Heroics from Dia, honestly, coming back on the Soldier, which, by the way, got heavily nerfed. Realistically speaking, isn't that great in this meta. Damage down from 20 to 18. That makes a huge difference as far as breakpoints, by the way. Still, though, got the eliminations, got those final blows. Shut down Choice of One, where previously, Choice of One's Genji was, I wouldn't say the only strong point, but certainly the highlighted signature strong point for the Guangzhou Charge, but very minimal impact from Choice of One so far, outside of pushing the initial payload. Now we get the replay of Dia fragging up a storm on the Soldier, looking like kickoff clash. I'll tell you what, they got the skills brought over from the kickoff clash, and now looking for the results during the Midseason Madness as well for the Valiant.
Once again, another demonstration of sometimes comfort is king, Avril. Doesn't matter if your hero gets nerfed, if you can still play it to a high level, you can find that value.
I get quite comfortable on a king size. What about you?
Comfortable on a king size?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm actually, no, I recently upgraded, actually. I bought a new bed like a couple of months ago, and I went from double to a king. Yeah, nice. No, I agree. Not reach super king levels
upgrade.
yet.
That's a significant upgrade.
Yeah, I think it is as well. Like maybe in a couple years, next upgrade, maybe I go for the Queen. Who knows? It might be a bit excessive though, actually. I know Queen's bigger than the King. Queen's bigger than the King.
Is it? Is that an UK thing? We'll find out.
It might be. I think it's American.
Talking about upgrades. Let me. Speaking of upgrades here, eyes on Marvel currently. Sigma is and has been historically one of his better heroes. I think mainly the Doom has been the talking point. So in this particular matchup, Krong, I would say, still has managed to mostly get the better of Marvel. Damage, statistically, would actually say Marvel slightly hit, just by a smidge, just by a little margin. But Krong has otherwise been more impactful with actually getting kills and using utility and all that kind of good stuff here. So
Dia gets to go over to the Widowmaker though this time.
Hey?
Dia gets to go over to the Widowmaker this time though, so we get to see that instead.
That's a big point.
Yeah, getting themselves set up, and no Genji this time, no double sniper actually. You're going to have both Choi and EasyHan on the Tracer to try and face off against each other. Like you said, we've migrated over to the server room already, a lot of space given. Develop going low, gets the healing they need. Krong still holding the line. He has to hold that door to stop the wave of Valiant crashing into that back corner. And Dia finds body shot. Needs one more, but the Immortality Field does come out to try and save the day as Choi finds Molly. Krong traded back, both tanks removed. And both BAPs as well, even kilter for both of these teams at the moment. They're still trying to find that definitive lead in the fight.
Good to see Choi Si-hwan getting active in the kill feed there as well. It's looking pretty quiet so far on this particular map. And you'll have noticed that while we were fighting the server, I believe the two Tracers were roughly dueling around the point. So it was a 4v4 in the server room, but once the payload actually got onto the high ground, both the Tracers rejoined the fight and ends up being Choi Si-hwan, having that impact on the Tracer to get those frags. So payload's actually pretty close to the end point now. Flux catches one.
Yep. Oh, he's using it to get right in the face of Faraway.
Jesus.
Nice rock there to damage. Immortality Field keeps the back line up. Lynx is coming for support as well. They need to clear that out. Marvel using the secondary ability of the Flux just to get in the face of that probably safe backline and just disrupt everything. Valiant. It's another 180, Avril. We just keep going dominance to dominance here as the Valiant pull ahead 2-1 in the series and go to match points.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a turnaround in terms of where the map ends, because it's another full hold, but just the opposite team, right? We go from Valiant winning 2-0 on Oasis to got to charge full holding Midtown, while only giving away 2 kills the entire map to the Valiant, to now the Valiant also full holding on Gibraltar. Difference being, though, I will say that Charge, despite losing this, were a lot more competitive than Valiant were losing on Midtown as a comparative point. So we did notice that Charge nearly capped A. They actually won a reasonable amount of fights, and then they got the A cap done, but couldn't quite get it over due to heroics from Dia coming through on the Soldier towards the end there. But a well-played offense from the LA Valiant will secure it. So 2-1 Trid, competitive series.
Yeah, absolutely. And Valiant have surpassed the previous record of their scoreline set from week 3. They now are pushing towards that victory. We're going to head over to Colosseo after this quick break. Match point for the LA Valiant after their Watchpoint Gibraltar performance. We're heading over to Colosseo next. And Avril, despite us going to a map number 4, this has felt like an incredibly fast series, and it has a lot to do with the full holds we've just gone through in map number 2 and 3.
And now we're going to get probably the longest map because it's 10 minutes of push now. For those that have
How'd you feel about that one,
tuned
April?
in here and you know, you're used to the 8 minutes of kickoff flash. Nope, it's 10 minutes now in Midseason Madness, and we're probably going to see the full 10 minutes as well because it's still just as unlikely for a team to get the cap, unless you're the Valiant versus Fusion. Apparently on New Queen Street, where they did in fact cap. But that will be another one of those moments that Fusion would like to forget and Valiant are happy to have in their memory banks, and they would like to repeat that push performance now versus the Charge. If they can finish the entire map, that would be brilliant. However, Colosseo is the more difficult of the 2 push maps to actually get a finish on. In fact, I don't think we've seen any finishes on Colosseo. Am I wrong? I don't think we've seen a single completion on Colosseo across either region this entire season. We've seen a couple now on New Queen Street, but 0 on Colosseo if I'm not mistaken. Get some stats confirmation on that at some other point. I'll ask.
We'll message the boys. We'll get the boys on the bell
right now. I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
But,
we'll message the boys, see what they have to say. Probably during the North American broadcast later. Yeah.
Drop the message in the group chat.
But no, it'll be interesting to find out whether we have actually had a completion on Colosseo yet. Getting everything set up.
It's not easy
now.
It's not easy.
Not easy on push at all.
The checkpoint. That's what do you like to call that checkpoint area with the ramps? It's like a bit of a spiral.
Yeah,
maybe it's spiral fine.
It's like a stair, it's like one of those spiral staircases without the steps. Yeah. You know, God, there probably is like an actual technical term.
I call it the king size because it's got the same length as a queen, but it's just a little bit wider. A little bit wider.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I learned a lot today, and with my newfound knowledge, Avril, I concur with that assessment. Actually, you know, I concur. Right, they're running out onto the field. Let's take a look at the lineups. It looks like Dia's going to head over to the Hanzo. Choice A1 will hit up the Tracer. And another flex in the backlines as well as Lengsa goes towards the Brigitte and Unique stays on the back.
Yeah, okay. I'm actually okay with the Brig pickup here, but you do have to get quite aggressive. I mean, similar arguments I made in terms of analyzing how Chengdu played a similar comp yesterday. That being said, though, Dia has a little bit more of the... He's just got the flags. He takes up far away straight away. He's got the poke I was going to mention. And certainly, Charge field poke by that.
It's more than a poke, my friend. You've just lost your Zenyatta. A little bit of a stretch to get them back. Dia goes on the hunt using the wall climb, finds the second support of this skirmish. No immortality field to help. Dia will just miss out on getting those shots on Develop, who slides on out. And the first push is going towards the Valiant.
Seems like we'll see how much distance they get as well. It's a couple members on there with the rest of the Valiant getting a little bit more aggressive, led by Marvel, the Sigma, straight up the stairs. They want to just keep the Charge contained for as long as possible there. Great shield usage by Krong to block out that accretion, which otherwise probably would have hit Develop.
No one's really stopped the momentum for the time being. Choi harassing the back as Farway will find Lengsa. Just keep on the harassment. Disruptor shot actually taking out Unique. That's probably a great answer to the immortality field because surely it chips away at the field and then you also just have to ticking health as well. D answers back and yeah, finally, you're going to get the Charge pushing the payload in the other direction.
Yeah, for sure, and that will be Charge having high ground control as well, understanding that you can actually flex numbers advantages while one or two members of the Valiant are actually pushing the payload. Valiant actually don't really want to have 2 members pushing payload if possible because for the people that don't know this, but payload on push maps doesn't scale off members, so whether it's 1 person or 5 people, the payload goes the same speed. So if you're going to be the Valiant here, maybe put Dia on there and everyone else can move forward. In either case, talking about Dia, he got the opening frag of the previous fight. Sonic out for the information.
So Dragon Strike available as well. Charge want to commit to this instead of less likely to be around the payload itself, but going to cut that through. Clears a lot of space. It's more decorative than anything right now. Choice one has Pulse Bomb, throws it in close proximity. No one falls victim to that one.
Flux.
It's going to be playing behind that Amp Matrix as well, trying to fight the damage, but the shields are good for the time being. Marvel uses the Flux, gets Unique up into the sky. Immortality field to catch them as they also use it to reposition the relative safety. Has to keep the angles because Choi is still lingering. There's the Transcendence from far away. Gonna use it to push forward as they finally take down Marvel. The rally wasn't enough to keep him up. Dia will find Faraway off the back of the Transcendence. Still 2 supports available for the Valiant. They're now taking the fight back into it. Disruptor shot in the middle of everything. Easy Han developer to finding the kills on the back line. Dia comes in to tip the scales. But it's the Valiant holding strong as they will return the push.
You know, there's few members going down there. Importantly, the supports were dead, so if you were the charge, just running in and making sure that if you are going to lose the fight, go for as many traits as possible to slow down the push. Valiant are forced to play defensively and wait for respawns. And look at this, they've already stopped pushing the payload, at least slightly, because they know they can't do it unless their full team is there. So this game mode, unlike others, Trent, where it's probably better to not stagger yourself and play aggressively when you're losing. On push, you do want to play aggressively when you're losing because you're going to force the other team who wins to play defensively to wait for respawns.
Diogo up and over. There's the scouting arrow at Matrix. No one showed themselves, just pumping a storm arrow into the pillar. There's Dragon Strike. Actually turns it at the last second to see they can cut off the rotation from the back line of the charge as Krong finds Marvel, and there you go, the charge not being faltered by the use of ultimates there. We will find a couple of kills. There's nothing here. He has to step back into the Disruptor shot, and that's a team kill for the charge as they look to try and match the push distance.
They're pretty much all alive here as well, which is great because they can now keep pushing through. Yeah, everyone's up so far. Charge doing a great job of just keeping the LOS off the window covered. Here comes a Flux now. 2 members. And one of them will die straight away. Dia doesn't even get saved by the Immortality because he was so high in the air.
Oh, that's rough. It's not what you want to see as Krong finds Lengza as well. Krong again dominating the kill feed. They find Marvel on the hunt, but Easy Han turns it around with the railgun. You only get 1 shot with those if you don't have the overclock. And you missed it, buddy. Easy Han doesn't miss those.
That's significant because, like I said, you know, just even the 1 member going down can be a big turnaround. Speaking of turnarounds, Guangzhou in charge now with 5 minutes still remaining, so half the game clock gone now officially. They overtake the distance that the Valiant have had. Not that it was a huge amount of distance, but you definitely want to be the team leading as we get closer towards the OT. 50% mark gone, over clock both available on both of our teams. So Dia Widowmaker, that's a little bit different though. He goes towards the Widowmaker out of spawn because you might be able to get some shots on, but he stays on the Widowmaker, and now it might be a little bit hard to play this.
Body shot onto Choi. He needs to find the head if he wants to clean him off in one go. Keeps trying to rely on it, but there's the overclock from the Vela. Dia wasn't looking in the right direction for that one. Easy Han answers back with an overclock of their own. Far away goes down. Develop sitting in the Immortality field as Krong finds that kill onto Easy Han. Both the Sigmas taking control of this one as Krong finds Molly. Disruptor shot, and Lengza will be the bane of his existence. Still incredibly staggered. Lengza just trapped in this corner, playing around the pillar, but Choi comes in with the sweep. Push bot is still not making the progress Valiant needs right now. Choi's just going to sit here with the pulse bomb, I feel. If anyone steps up, he's just going to try and go for the connection and stick and get another stagger.
And Dia's now back over towards the Hanzo. I feel like it definitely was a mistake to come out of the Widowmaker, right? He was just distracted by the Tracer. Choice won the entire time. Sniped out immediately by the overclock coming through from Develop.
Oh my
And
god.
the snipe will go the opposite side. The Hanzo just a lot better at that mid-range. Will take down Choice Juan a lot easier than he would have had to playing the Widowmaker. On the flank now.
Yeah, it's really difficult for Krong to be able to defend against both of these angles. Tries to put it at a slight angle there to keep him up. Transcendence being used early by Faraway. That's both support ultimates thrown into the mix by the charge. We've only found the Immortality field so far, and Dia again takes out Faraway. He didn't really check that angle. He's able to come back in. Choi with that pulse bomb finds Easy Han. Needs to find another shot. Dia.
Nice.
And there you go. Nice melee after a body shot should do it. He's got all the information. He's going to go up and over onto the back line. Turns his attention immediately to Unique. Gets him with the Storm Arrow. Dia running circles around the charge right now and forcing him all the way back. And that's enough for the Valiant to be able to take the lead in the map with 2 minutes 40 to go.
Yeah, so we've halved our time pretty much again. Dia with another frag. How many is that so far? It's like 4 in this fight alone. It's a bit of an extended fight. We've had already 5 frags coming through from the Valiant. More respawners from the charge that'll try and defend. Cap should be underway. In fact, the cap has been secured. Extra distance gain, 70 plus in the meterage. Got to put the pressure on the charge if they have any hope to turn this one around and cap themselves. And the deeper we go, the harder it gets. Because we're uphill now.
It's going to be huge for them. They're going to have to break through this flux on Marvel as well. Krong's about to get theirs online to potentially try and level it out. Choi moving over to the Genji, not having much luck on the Tracer. But there's that flux being thrown in from Krong. Actually beat Marvel to the punch. Marvel stunned up at the moment. Discord Orb's there. Choi will cut through them. Okay, so you've won the fight, basically. Someone needs to go in there and get that payload. 3 of them are on it, Avril.
100 meters?
Don't need to be there. Come on! Look at that! Easyhan finds that kill. And Valiant will return back to the payload. Choi is still alive, getting these kills and just playing cleanup duty for his team right now. But he's by himself until Krong comes out of the thing. Oh my goodness, Easyhan finally will take out Choi Zewan. You said 108 meters here, and like you said, Avril, it's so much harder now we've reached this amount of distance to actually make progress on the side of the charge. They may not even be able to try and meet this and even surpass it.
Well, there's just no time. It's less than 120 remaining. You just have to get past all the ultimates. You wonder why Valiant don't commit harder on that fight. Well, A, they're losing. B, they're getting free distance. And C, I mean, they just have to play to defend now. They don't have to push any further. Their goal is not to finish the map. The goal is to maximize distance and now defend for the rest of the time remaining. And they have the ultimates to play through. They might have lost a year, but they have still got ultimates to play. Rally's already on. Here comes the flux.
Yeah, Develop gets caught in that one right on the edge. Manages to slide on out. Doesn't get hit by the slam side of it as Easyhan finds far away. Both Immortality Fields traded out. Valiant have taken control of the payload while this was going on. Just delaying the charge even more. They're dominating the kill feed as well. We've got both damage ultimates available on this next push, and we're looking towards Choi's Blade to try and break the stronghold that Valiant have set up.
It's going to need to be more than that because Valiant still have more ultimates to play through. They're pushing the payload distance to reset it all the way back inside Guangzhou charge territory. Again, their goal is not to finish the map, so once they push the payload back to where it was at about 108, they can basically just chill there. In fact, they can just chill now. They don't have to move the payload at all.
Blade finds Dia. That's one damage dealer down. Dragon Strike goes up into the sky. Has to take out the Immortality Field. Will find Molly afterwards. Gets a reset into the face of Lengsa, who will deal with Choi Se-wan. The Transcendence will stagger out the fight, but overtime's begun, and it's still in charge territory, Avril. They're not going to be able to win this map at this point. And it looks like the Valiant are on the cusp of turning the series around, flipping the script, and securing a win against the Guangzhou charge. Because right now, you can push that back in overtime, but they are not going to be able to make that distance.
Don't get baited by the fact that Develop looked really good getting those 3 kills here. It doesn't matter because Valiant know they have the distance advantage here. Charge would have to win something like 4 to 5 fights in a row during the OT, and they would have to do it flawlessly without dropping any members. All Valiant have to do is throw numbers at the payload, throw bodies on the payload, kill anybody you can, any frags, any trades count. They just got to get some number of kills, and Charge would lose just from not having numbers.
Yeah, it's not about charge kills, it's about the charge deaths. Keep them low, keep it going. Choi and Krong, they're powering through at the moment. I'm not going to curse this one. I'm touching all the wood right now, Avril, but that's the fight number 1
this is
of 4.
Valiant. Still Valiant. Look at the ultimates online. All it needs to be is pop all 3 ultimates. Unique can't respond. Like I said, it comes down to any kills for the Valiant. That's what you're paying attention towards. They've won, what, 2 out of maybe 4 fights, so 2 more to go here. Now the hard push starts. Okay, they reset the payload back towards actually getting a checkpoint. Now you got to push. Here comes Marvel.
There's the flux. Both of them behind the terrain of the map, though, so they are able to try and mitigate that a little bit. Nice flanking route from the Valiant to get control of the payload itself and find a flank rather than dealing behind the shield of Krong, who has to reposition. But Krong's going down. That's it. You talked about the death line, Avril. They're starting to spike back up again. They found far away on the backside. Choi Se-wan cannot make the difference here. It was always going to be a challenge, unlikely, close to impossible. Valiant did enough earlier in the map. They take it, and they will secure a win in the series and beat out the Guangzhou charge.
Yeah, I think once you started to see Valiant get the cap itself, push over towards the 80 mark, the 80 meter mark, it was to me not 100% over, but maybe like 80% over there. But once you see the Valiant get beyond that, there was about another 18 to 20 minutes worth of free pushing to get from, what, 80 to 90 to the end point of 108. I even said 100 would have been pretty disastrous. 108, forget about it. At that point, it's about 110. You might as well round it up. But the numbers don't even make a difference anymore. And for the Guangzhou charge, time works against them as well. I mean, look, we have added 2 more minutes to the game mode, but it ends up being the Valiant using the 2 extra minutes to get further distance. And the charge, it didn't really help them at the end of the day. They had to overspend just to take control of the payload. So yeah, Develop looked good getting those 3 overclock kills, but he had to spend an overclock just to regain control of the payload. That wasn't even the important fight. The next 3 to 4 to 5 fights are the important fights, and they would have to win those without losing anybody. You see Krong die, it's over, done.
Yeah. You lose your tank of all people as well, the person who you expect to be holding that line, especially against that long-range poke damage that's coming out from a lot of the members of the Valiant. But yeah, that's going to be Colossia going the way. Still, we'll get an update on the stats when we can, Avril, but no one's been able to complete Colosseum. And as you kept saying during the map, Valiant didn't need to. They were able to just go ahead and hold that defense, and it doesn't surprise me. I've just been fed some great info, Avril, based especially earlier on in the series as well. I feel like they really made a difference. Our player of the match for this series is going to be Marvel.
I think deservedly so, because Marvel was not only dominant on the Doomfist as we expect, but coming through on the Sigma as well. A really underrated pick, and this is, I think, almost a perfect game for Marvel. I'm not talking about this particular match, but I just mean Overwatch 2, where he was already a player in Overwatch 1 that was flexing between the traditional main tank and off-tank roles, which for any tank player now in Overwatch 2 means you are super flexible. I mean, look at this play, by the way. We're talking about this one off the screen, but using the flux, catches Krong, and then just flies into the face of the supports, backed up by the rest of his team. And, you know, Marvel carried the team through on Oasis, held the zone versus Krong on all of the rest of the maps. Maybe struggled a little bit about on Midtown. Midtown, I think, is the one outlier for the LA Valiant. The rest of the maps looked far more dominant and far more competitive at the minimum for the side of the LA Valiant, and where you can play a Sigma that can rival Krong, who has historically been one of our better Sigmas that we've had in the league. That speaks really well to Marvel's capability.
I want to know how that damage distribution from Marvel still played out, because I know at times in that series, Marvel was leading his team on damage dealt as well on the Sigma. It'll be interesting to see what the final lay of the land was when it comes back. Oh, come on, hit me with the stats.
He did half of that damage on the last map of Colosseo, and it was 28% of his team's total damage, which is 2% higher than Easy Hunt, the next player. So he did more damage than everybody else in the team on this Sigma, which is a lot.
So there you have it, dominant performance from Marvel, and no doubt that's probably part of the decision that was made there to give them player of the match when you're putting up numbers like that. But Charge still struggling. I know we have to kind of bring it back to where we're at with the standings, Avril. We talked about the impossibilities of both of these teams still being able to qualify for the main event. I think with that loss, like mathematically, I don't think the Charge can actually get themselves down the line to reaching the main event anymore.
I have to get confirmation that they're at 1-7. I think at this stage, if they win 4 more games at 5-7, and then I suppose if Philadelphia Fusion just keep losing, then maybe. But, I mean, yeah, here it is now, 1-7 with only 1 point. They are... Fusion should be on more. Fusion should be on 5 points, because the points do count. The points from the actual Kickoff Clash tournament do count. So it's not 3; they're on 5. So Charge would have to get minimum 4 points to at least catch up to Fusion, and then have a better map record as well. So technically speaking, if Fusion just go like 0-6 this qualifier, then I guess it is possible. But it requires Fusion to go 0-6.
Depends what type of Fusion fan you are right now as to whether you believe that could happen. Some of them aren't having the best time, but of course,
you're either like it's never going to happen, or like it's definitely happening. There's nothing in between.
It depends on which side of the bad Pachamari index you sit on, of whether you are as a Fusion fan. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have some highlights from that last series.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Is it not burning you anymore? Welcome back to the Midseason Madness qualifiers. The LA Valiant have just mirrored the scoreline they had against the Charge when they faced off in week number 3. 3-1. We was joking about it in the break. It was 4 maps. It kind of felt like 3 because we had a lot of full holds in that series, particularly maps number 2 and 3. If you're just coming back as well for the first time, Marvel got player of the match. Absolutely fantastic performance on this Doomfist once again from them. We're taking a look at some highlights from Oasis, and this was definitely where you felt that dominance in the series early on from him.
And credit to No Hill for having an eye out to say, like, all right, well, Boston isn't using this guy. He's on the free market. He's available in the APAC region. Pick him up. My only question now is that, you know, what happens when his 30-day contract runs out? Because he's only here for 30 days. He's only here for a month. And he's so good for this team that they got to keep him for longer. So, you know, what happens when the 30 days are up? Do they just crowdfund him again?
Imagine if the 30 days expires and Valiant, oh my god, did you just see that? The flick there catches Dia right at the cusp of it. Oh, she shoots the ground and Dia gets ragdolled up into the sky. Thank you so much, observers and production, for that one.
It's like Marvel's like a subscription, isn't it? It's like a premium subscription to winning. So it's like, you know, how long do you want to keep your premium subscription going for? It's like, well, you know, we're still winning, so, you know, I might as well just resub for another 30 days, know what I'm saying? So
what if
what it is for the Valiant so far.
What if it's the free trial, right? What if it's the 30 days free and No Hill?
Marvel's definitely not there for free. I get
No.
They wish they got it for free.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the free trial, right? Where like the second you sign up for it, the No Hill's just like, okay, I'm gonna cancel the subscription right away, even before the full duration has gone, and then he's like panicking, going, oh no, I didn't mean to cancel it. Jesus, I gotta resubscribe somehow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Hacker's already there for free, so you can't have too many people there for pre-trade. Just putting that out there. So, yeah, Marvel, no, he's got his 30 days locked up. And at this rate, they're going to need to... They better start outsourcing now. They better put up that... what is it? GoFundMe or whatever up to be like, yo, guys, you know, it's a little early, but we need to start getting some dollars in to keep Marvel around because we're winning, we're looking good. Fun fact, Valiant are now equal in points and scoreline for the season with the Chengdu Hunters. 3-5, both the teams, with 3 points each. So there is a race happening. There is a really serious race happening where... Both of these... In fact, everyone's on 3-5. Fusion's also on 3-5, but they got 2 more points.
I told you.
Because of the fact that they went to the finals of the kickoff clash. And I did work this out mathematically.
Yeah.
Charge, the reason why they're not mathematically out is because if they go 4 wins in a row now from here on outwards, which doesn't sound really possible, but we'll hypothesize it, and Fusion goes 0-6, then technically Charge catch up by 4 points to match the 5 of the Fusion. That would be the only way Charge can catch up. So it's not looking good. But mathematically, it's possible.
You don't have to be faster than the pack of lions, Avril. You just have to be faster than the slowest person. And
the problem is that Charge are the slowest right now. That's the problem.
Hopefully they can get some cardio in on the way, and maybe they can up the speed a bit.
2 teams that are very far ahead, though, are the ones at the bottom here.
Yes, Shanghai Dragons and the Spark. They are our next series. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to bring you our final series of the Eastern region. just a teeny tiny break there as we got ready for our final series of the day. It is, of course, the Dragons going up against the Spark, and these are two teams on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to our leaderboard, but they're not in first place because, lo and behold, it's the Seoul Dynasty still pulling out just a fraction further in front of them, Avril.
I mean, it's a lot of points, though. I mean, both teams are very likely to make the mid-season tournament at this stage.
Yes.
Shanghai definitely copped a pretty rough loss yesterday, but now that they're past Seoul, I mean, it's acceptable. You lost to Seoul. It's understandable. That being said, I won't give the Dragons too many benefits of doubt here because there are a couple of areas that did concern me. One of them was the fact that Lip didn't look super comfortable on the Sojin. At various points, opted to go back to the Ashe. Not too dissimilar to what we've seen from EasyHan, but I feel like the best players are finding it comfortable on the Sojin, are getting the value of the Sojin, like Fitz, like Stalker, like Leave, like Shy. Lip's now going to have to play against Shy. So take a look at the other side as well in terms of Hangzhou Spark. Shy was dominant in his game versus the Guangzhou Charge, and that's a huge part for the Hangzhou Spark to rely on. And beyond that as well, Alpha's Echo, especially on the good Echo maps like the Ilios that came out, and we are still in double push here for the APAC region, so Alpha has plenty more opportunities to play that Echo. All of these things are really difficult to get past because the DPS line of the Spark had already been looking damn good, still looks damn good in the Mid-Season Madness, and on top of that, Bernard's flexing his hero pool to also include heroes like Ball, a traditionally main tank hero for an off-tank player like Bernard.
It's like you said, it's the best performing tanks at the moment are the ones who kind of like are expanding that pool and are able to extend the range, because that was always going to be the big like contending issue migrating from Overwatch 1 to 2 was like how good could the tanks change roles, or oh my god, I don't know what's going on there, but Lip's camera was just zooming in on his face. What's going on with Lip's camera? Sorry, that's broken me a little bit.
He's trying to press his lips on the camera.
Ah, yeah, give everyone a nice little smooch. Thank them for turning up and watching the Eastern region and being a Dragons fan. Oasis is our first map. We're not really changing up anything. The biggest deviation we kind of have here, Avril, is that we're going to Circuit Royale instead of Watchpoint Gibraltar. And of course, our control map at the end differs.
That actually might help out Lip a little bit there as well, because it'll allow him to play the Widowmaker, which Shy didn't look too good on yesterday. So if there's anything there, I think the Dragons will be leaning on that. And this is kind of one of the matches where I'm feeling like it should be close, because Spark looked good yesterday and Dragons did not. And the things that look good for the Spark are the same areas that I feel like are lackluster for the Dragons. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Lip and Flitter duo was not that great yesterday. They need to be far more impactful today. And we are going to start things out once again on Oasis. It's Gardens again, Tread. We've been here before. Look, we'll be starting out of the Sojin, Shy on the Ashe.
Void gets that position, disrupt the shot, stops the angle from being checked. And now they put Alpha E onto the point as well. No one's really got the definitive positional advantage. If you had to give it to someone, I'd probably give it over to the Dragons, though, as they seem much more established. Spark finding their way in. You've got a nice roll through coming in from Bernard, seeing what they can do. They're just going to be posturing around the point as Bernard rolls back in. Marvel can just keep him at arm's length with that boxer's poise. Irony cannot step forward. They got both angles checked right now. It's really hard for anyone to make any inroads to the point. No, they've not been able to get away with that cap just yet because of the contestation. Finally, does go over to the Dragons.
Yeah, that's Bernard very low HP for a long time as well. Shy, brilliant headshot into Flatter. Bring the numbers back over towards their side once Bernard comes back in. You did see that Shanghai Dragons had like 99% of the camp for the longest time. They'll finally get it towards the end with both the DPS down and Flitter coming back online. Shy is just controlling the battlefield. This will be Spark. Get the cap.
What a dominant first fight coming in there from Shy. Builds up a huge amount of percentage on the Ashe and basically leads his team to getting that flip so early on into the map against the Dragons. 17% was only what was accrued, and Alfie's checking Fletter's routes of ingress already.
And it was 3 final blows for Shy as well, burning up towards the Bob. Will be really important for this now defense. So see what the rest of the Shanghai Dragons can do. Void, especially on this dude, needs to get into the face of players as soon as possible. Nano from Bebe saves Izayaki, who would have died to the pulse.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, looked away. I was like, oh, I just got hit by the pulse bomb, and then it goes off camera, and he's still alive. I'm like, sourcing for the answer. What is it? And it's Bebe's nano boost. Railgun charge put in place for Lip, has the right click ready to go, and uses it immediately on Alpha Yi to shut down the Tracer. They've not got themselves onto the point until Void jumps into the high ground. Amp Matrix is in a very safe position to be able to use there. Meteor Strike slams down on Irony. Oh, and Shy has nowhere to escape to either. The Dragons are going to be clapping back and retaking this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Off the back of Void as well. How many kills is that? 3 to 4 so far. Lip tried to overclock, was instantly fragged by Irony, so thankfully the rest of the Shanghai Dragons, led by the Doomfist tank player of Void, was able to get it across the line, and without any other ultimates expended either beyond just the overclock and also the death, Meteor Strike, I was going to say. I was thinking Reaper for some reason, don't know why my brain went in that direction, but Lip will come through now with the instant headshot on Shy, so a fresh Ash pick for Lip, instantly getting dividends.
Just failed to hold the angle, try and look out for a couple more of those. They know that Alfie snuck in somewhere, and of course Bernard's probably going to do the same on the ball. So have to keep the head on the swivel for the time being. Throws that dynamite
slow.
in.
Spark need to find some ingress soon.
Just letting map percentage accrue right now. Minefield deployed. Where was it deployed? Up on the high ground. Lip gets slapped down by Alfie. Dynamite over the top. Izayaki under pressure will be using that Transcendence to emerge onto the point and escort his team to safety almost. They had to play around the angles, but it wasn't safe for too long as Alfie in Irony finds the backline of the Dragons. They go for cleanup here, and there's a flip coming in for the Sparks. This is much more back and forth than what we saw earlier today.
And it's such a better performance from Alfie on the Tracer compared to yesterday, but also better than Fletter, who is still looking, a little bit rough, a little bit soft in terms of the performance. Played it low to the Reaper from the kickoff clash, and coming into Midseason Madness just has been falling flat on performances. Lip had that initial frag on the Shy, but since then it's been pretty quiet. He hasn't really been able to do too much. Having some Izayaki damage certainly helps, and that'll be the kill.
They're just like laughing at Lip right now. Wait, you have to use your Zenyatta to get frags? Chuckling at each other as that happens right now. Fletter drops down from the heavens. Keeps the pressure on to Alpha Yi. Playing around the pillars, has access to the health. Lip's got a good angle here to try and control these entrances. Throws the dynamite over the top for Izayaki again. Moves around, finds Shy. We're in overtime right now for the Spark. And with Void going down, it does not look like Dragons are going to be able to retake this one. Lip throws the Bob out before getting taken out. There's no Immortality Field on the side of Spark. False Bomb comes in, and Super Rich has nothing to save themselves with that one. Stick comes on to Izayaki, but they're trading it back as going to find another one taken out. Fletter's being mowed down. Orb of Discord being a huge difference maker there as Alfie can just spray around. Minefield, Meteor Strike drops down. Doesn't get the ground fast enough to keep the overtime going. And it's 100% to 75. Spark take the first round.
Dude, Alpha Yi is sick today. I mean, I was, again, criticizing the Tracer yesterday, and I think previously in the kickoff clash as well. It was like, well, Alpha Yi, he's been dominant on the Genji, on the Echo. Yeah, I'm sure there's another pick out there that I'm forgetting at the moment, and we're looking towards the Tracer's like, yeah, it's been a good Tracer, but wasn't as dominant. I've got to change my mind now. That was a great Tracer performance. Yeah. Really pulled the team together, many final blows. And unfortunately, one of the key, I think, difference makers on that final fight in the second to last fight was that Void dies at 98%, so couldn't Meteor Strike away to save himself and continue the fight. Comes back in, is the only one there, ends up having to use the Meteor Strike to live, and as we saw, ends up hopping off the point because of it, and they lose the capture point, and the map is gone. But I think that round was already over. Hangzhou Spark had definitely taken the lead. Both teams now starting out on the show, which means health pack control, this mega pack and the jump pad control on that high ground, super important. Will be the side of the Shanghai Dragons taking it first, especially with the kill into Alpha Yi.
Yeah, Alpha Yi was there for the contest, but a little bit outnumbered. Void gets boxed in the corner. Orb of Discord and a couple of shots from Shy should be the triggering factor there. This first cap going over to the Dragons. They start to get themselves set up and not really using the high ground just yet. One shot into Shy. Coach Gun puts Lip up there, and that's probably where he'll want to be for safety.
So Lip getting a decent lead over Shy now as far as Bob goes can be pretty important for this point. Just a stall. Putting pressure onto any members. A big open sightlines as well, so Bob can really shoot anybody. Offer you down to Izayaki again. So did a brilliant job of getting damage and surviving on guarded, but so far it's just gone 0 for 2 as far as KD on this particular round. Struggling.
They're just constantly being challenged by those orbs as well. Every time we cut over to them, there's a Discord on there. Harmony can only do so much for them. They said great sightlines to use not only for Bob, but for themselves. They're able to keep an eye on the entrances and turn around to help the support line should someone go to attack them over there by the Mega. Bernard waiting for his team to go in, rolls up to the high ground, goes for Izayaki, tries and block him in the corner. Oh, he gets the support he needs, but Lip's there for the support as we call it. Bernard gets taken off the map. And there's a second kill coming in as Fleta will find Shy. Pulse Bomb online for them as Alpha Yi's taken down. This is some dominance from the Shanghai Dragons. 60% and climbing, and the ults are starting to come online. He's got a Pulse Bomb, Transcendence, and Meteor Strike on the go. Well,
pretty good trade coming through. So when Bernard goes for the dive into Izayaki, they'll manage to push him away, take him down. Lip's there for the damage. Fleta receives a nano and gets the kill to Alpha Yi as well towards the back end. So brilliant stuff to get Fleta back into the game. So further slowdown onto Alpha Yi's impact so far on Civic Center. Has a Pulse Bomb available. Out goes the bomb.
Yeah, I don't know how far that went. Did I actually manage to get onto the point? Oh, it did, right at the back there. I thought it got clipped on the wall as he put it out. Alpha Yi finds Void, Super Rich taking out Lip. Oh my god, it's looking very pink right now, and this is what Spark needs. 99% is about to be accrued, so it's an overtime push to try and get this flip. And now they're going to have to hold it for perfection if they want to deny round number 3.
Yeah, great stuff there. I mean, you want to be targeting Void here. You can go for the backline, but it has been difficult, as we saw from Bernard's POV. But every time that Void goes for a power block, it's a free Pulse Bomb stick if you can find it, which shouldn't be too difficult. Speaking of finding things, Irony, straight away onto the Lip. That'll just be an instant reset for the Shanghai Dragons. In terms of trying to catch up on percentage points and get more ultimates online, very important for the Hangzhou Spark to just get a freebie like that. 1 kill, 10 seconds of waiting time, free percentage points, you love it.
Looking towards backline of Spark to try and survive this one as well. We got the Transcendence, which is a good panic button. Lots of instant kill potential, though. I feel like on the side of the Dragons, they might not be able to mitigate it all.
Lip Bob here.
Yeah. Oh,
or not?
Well, no, it would not be a Lip Bob, unfortunately, because Alpha Yi's woken himself back up again, getting himself to the performance we saw from round number 1. Void under pressure again. You know that was going to be a focus for them. Has the Meteor Strike for some semblance of safety. Will be forced away, getting some healing from his team to try and stay into this fight, but there's no real pressure on the Spark losing this until Super Rich goes down, does get the Out Matrix out before falling, as Irony will also use that Transcendence. They had an overlap, but Izayaki goes down to Bernard! Oh, they're not going to be able to keep this one up now. They have to wait for Izayaki to be able to join them with that ultimate. Lip will finally be in a position to get the Bob online to keep the challenge, but Shy is about to match them as well. So you're going to have Bobs doing the fighting for them if they need to. Pulse Bomb thrown up by Alpha. He doesn't catch Bebe. So we'll now get them onto the point. Bernard has to roll away. They're so low. They're about to lose their tank. Oh, no. This could be disastrous, as Dragons might be able to get the flip here. They can keep the pressure up, but they've lost Bebe